channel. So today's video is actually going to be a story time. As you can tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about the time that I snuck my friend into an Airbnb. I'm about to tell you all this juice, you know, how we was harassed, how we was kicked out. We about to get to the nitty-gritty of this situation. So for those of you who are new, hi, my name is Raven. Welcome to my channel. I kind of talk about on my channel a little bit about my experience being homeless, about me couch hopping. I give advice, I do story times, I do it all, okay? Everything about my channel, it represents me and who I am and things that I've experienced in my life. The story takes place in the spring of 2017. I had this friend named Rachel, and me and her, we were like dependent on each other pretty much. Like, where I lacked, she picked up at. Where she lacked, I picked up at. Whenever, like, I didn't know where I was going to go, she would help me. Whenever she didn't know where she was going to go, I would help her. If I didn't have enough money for food, she would cover me. I usually was helping her as far as, like, sneaking into the Airbnbs. She helped me, like, when I literally didn't have no money, and she kind of had this guy who was willing to let us come stay at their facility. It was, what is it called? It was a management company. That's what it was. It was a talent management company. He let us come and stay there, and even with the time she had somewhere to go and I didn't, like, it was because of her I was able to stay at that place. But we were always like working together as a team. Like, we had each other's back, and we pretty much figured, like, since we have each other back so much, that we're going to be friends. Like, even when we're done going through this, like, storm, we're going to be good. We're going to be good friends. We can already tell, like, our vibe is like this, you know, whatever. But apparently we're not friends anymore because she was just a user. So I had stayed in the Airbnb, and I had booked that Airbnb for 2 nights. When I first got to the Airbnb and I was checking in, I was assigned bunk number 4 because the room that they assigned me to, it had like about 4 or 5 bunk beds in it, and it was a really, really big room. And so there was someone that was in bunk number 5 already. So I had told the person who I had checked in with, and she ended up calling the host. Now, this lady was the cleaning lady. So she called the host, and the host told her just to have me go to bunk 4. So which meant I was on the bottom bunk, okay? So I did. I was cool. Didn't really like the area because it was nothing to do. Like, I just felt trapped. I tried walking around. There was nothing really to do over there. And on top of that, like, the Airbnb kind of had this weird smell. And the cleaning lady, like, she was terrible. Like, I swear you had to walk with caution. They needed a sign to be on the floor that says, like, caution, wet floor or something like that, because this lady sucked when it came to cleaning, okay? It was like she had a bucket and just dumped the water all over the floor and then dumped soap, like, all over the floor. Like, it was so freaking wet, and it took a long time for the floors to actually dry. The floors was usually always wet because I guess she mops the floor a lot. I don't know, but it was just really soaking wet. It was like you used a wet mop and didn't wring the mop out and then started mopping. It was just like you dumped it in there and it went. It was water all over the floor. I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have slipped and said, oh my gosh, my neck, my back, my spine. So that night, like, Rachel ended up hitting me up, and she's like, hey, like, I don't have nowhere to go tonight, and I don't have any money. So guess what? We snuck her into this Airbnb. She slept in the bed with me. I'm at the top of the bed. She's at the bottom of the bed. Gucci. We had done this before where, like, we snuck into, well, I've never snuck into an Airbnb, but she snuck into an Airbnb, and she was always just sharing a bed with me. So that's what I meant when, like, I really had her. If I had somewhere to go and she didn't, like, I would sneak her into the Airbnbs and just she'd hide under the blanket or whatever, you know. And we had never got caught. Or she had booked that Airbnb for a couple days if she had the money, and then when she didn't have any more money to stay there again, she would just stay there with me. So we were always good. Like, we were good as far as always covering it up until this night. We're in bed, and late at night, there was this guy that came to the Airbnb. He came into the room, and I heard him because he was loud. So he's looking around trying to find what bed he was in, and then he comes to me and he wakes me up, but I was already kind of up anyways. But he was like, this is my bed. And I was like, no, they told me yesterday that this is my bed, because someone was in my bed up there, because it was originally bunk 5 was mine, but someone was staying in there, so they told me just to stay in this bed. And so he was like, okay. So he ended up calling the host, and the host told him to take bunk 5 for the night. So he took bunk 5, and then he got up early in the morning. I think it had to be about like 7, 8 o'clock ish. He was up, and I heard him because he was moving things like out of the room. So I woke up. He was like, oh, I'm sorry for waking you up. And he was like, yo, they're moving me to the next room. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah. And I was like, see, they need to get their stuff together. They're so unorganized. It's ridiculous. And so that's when Rachel, like, she kind of moved and sat up a little bit. And so he saw her, and he was like, oh. And so then, like, the guy ended up showing me his new room that he's staying in. And the room that he was staying in was, like, way smaller. It was like they crammed 4, like, bunk beds into that small ass room. And so he was like, I wish I could have stayed in the other room, you know, opposed to this. Like, it was so bad in there in that room. I felt so bad for him. So after that, like, I go and get my stuff, and then I go in the living room and just sit there on the couch, and I'm waiting because I want to take a shower, but both bathrooms were taken, and checkout time was like at 11 o'clock. So I was trying to hurry up and get in and out, you know, whatever. So I'm sitting there waiting, and then the house cleaning lady, she was the one who told me which bed to take. She came and she asked me, like, what my name was, what bunk was I staying in, and how long was I there. So I told her, and she was like, okay. Like, she seemed kind of cool, like, she seemed nice. And so then she was going around to other people, and she was asking them as well. So by this time, I go into the bathroom to get ready to take a shower, and by that time, Rachel was already up, and she had went to the sink to go brush her teeth. So that's when I ended up hearing the lady go to Rachel and ask her, like, who she was, and like what her bunk number was, and how long she was there. So Rachel only told her her name, but she didn't give her any other information. And the lady kept hassling her and, like, to get that information, like, yo, like, what's up? What bed number are you in, and how long are you here for? Rachel was not telling her, obviously, because she wasn't going to throw me under the bus. And so anyways, I get in the shower, I get out, and then by that time, Rachel, like, hurry up, and she gets into the bathroom so she could take her shower. So I heard the lady, she ends up calling the host, telling the host that there's someone that is not supposed to be there, because she's refusing to say, like, what bunk number she's in and, like, how long she's there. So I don't know the rest of the conversation between them, because I'm just getting my stuff ready and finish getting dressed, you know, everything. So at this point, like, I started hearing this lady go around asking people, like, did they know who she was, what room she was staying in, and nobody was, like, saying nothing. Everybody was staying quiet about it. So finally, Rachel gets out the shower, and she, like, leaves the bathroom. This lady literally follows her into the room that we were in, and Rachel went over, like, clearly near my bed and was getting her stuff. So the lady goes to me, she's your friend? I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, you heard me asking who she was. Why didn't you tell me? She ends up calling the host, right? The host calls me, and he's like, you know, you're not supposed to have any visitors. So this was, like, he didn't have in the description, because usually with the host, they would tell you not to have any visitors. So I knew that I shouldn't have any visitors or have anyone staying there, but it's my friend and she has nowhere to go, so obviously I'm going to help her. So for those of you who are going to come onto this video and leave a comment talking about, well, you were wrong in the first place because, you know, she should have paid and she should have did this and she should have did that and blah blah blah, let me pause you for a second. When you're homeless and you don't have nowhere to go, you don't have any money, you don't have any food, you do what you got to do to survive. I'm the kind of person, if my friend is struggling, I got my friend's back. I'm gonna do what I can to help you. I can't just leave my friend there on the street, you know? Like, I'm going to do the best that I can to help you. If you're my friend, like, I got your back, you know? So don't come to me on no BS, because I'm telling you how it is. Don't say nothing to me unless you've been in this situation before where you didn't have shit and you didn't know what you were going to do. Like, when you don't have nothing and you trying to do what you can to survive, that is your priority, trying to do what you can. You hungry, you don't have any money, that's what leads to people going and stealing and doing things that they're not supposed to do. Now, I know that I'm not supposed to be sneaking nobody in or whatever, but I was not about to let my friend stay out there on the street. This guy was like, you know, you're not supposed to have any visitors there and she needs to pay. And I was like, well, I mean, I paid for the bed, because basically what you're doing anyway is paying for the bed. So I'm like, you know, since I paid for the bed, can we just like let it go, just brush it off? He's like, no, she needs to pay. And I was like, but I paid for the bed, like it's already paid for. He was like, you paid for you, she needs to pay for her. And I'm like, but we're sharing a bed and the bed is specifically paid through me. And I told him, I was like, look, she didn't have nowhere to go. She didn't have no money. She had nothing. So I was going to leave her out there stranded. So he was like, let me talk to her. So he talked to her and he told her that she needed to pay. She said that she didn't have any money. If she had the money, then she would have paid for the Airbnb. So they kept going back and forth like for a minute. And then he was like, fine, we're going to let it go this time. So they got off the phone, whatever. The lady was there too. Like, she was watching like the whole time and listening to the conversation. So she knew what was up. So at this point, it's almost like 11 o'clock, right? So Rachel is finishing getting dressed and getting ready or whatever. And by this time, like, I'm pretty much done. I'm just waiting on her. And so everywhere that Rachel went, this lady was following her. Like, Rachel went to the sink to go fix her hair or like whatever, she was going there too. Rachel went to go get something to drink, this lady followed her like every freaking where she went. And Rachel was like, yo, can you stop following me? Like, you know, go. And the lady was like, you trespassing. I should call the police on you. I'm gonna call the police. Like, she kept it going after the situation was already resolved and the host had said, okay, we're gonna let it pass. Like, she kept this crap going and I was like, stop it, like, leave her alone. And she just comes to me like, you know, and then you gonna lie and come for you. I asked you if you knew who she was. She didn't never even ask me. I never even said nothing. She was going around asking other people. Like, to be honest. But I'm like, yo, why is she up in our face like this? Like, she was so close. I kid you not. So now it's literally like a few minutes to 11 o'clock. We get in our stuff and we're like heading out of the door. This lady still fussing at us. Okay, she was just like, you trespassing, you this, you that, you like. I'm like, yo, we're leaving. We already resolved this with the host and now we're leaving, okay? And she just kept it going. And then this lady literally, she pulls out her phone and she starts recording, okay? She literally, first, let me tell you, she gets in Rachel's face. Like, she gets all up in Rachel's face. Like, you're trespassing. I'm gonna call the police. Let me call the police. I'm gonna call the police on you. And I'm just like, if you don't get out her, why you up in her face like that? Like, she's just like this. I could not believe it. And then she up here talking about, I'm gonna call the police, I'm gonna call the police on you, blah, blah, blah. The phone all up in Rachel. I'm recording, this, that. I'm like, oh my gosh. We literally already out of the front door and we're just walking away. And she's like, had the audacity to come and like follow us and then continue to try to get up in our faces. And then Rachel's like, I could call the police on you because you're up in my face and you're harassing me when this has already been resolved. And we're leaving the property at that. So, I mean, goodness, we just ignored the lady. Like, Rachel ended up turning back around. We just walking like up the street, like leaving. This lady still filming, like she trying to have her evidence just in case something pop off. And I was just like, yo, why you being all extra? The host immediately left a review for me. I left a review. I just basically said, look, I actually told the story in the review what happened. And I also talked about the floors and how it smelled. And like the issue with the bed. I said it all. And so he ended up leaving a review, and he told, like on my page for the Airbnb, he told people to beware, do not book her because she sneaks people into the house, blah blah blah, and some more stuff. She doesn't follow the rules. She's been nothing but a problem since she moved in. Like all this issue, like all this stuff, like it was like a whole like essay like about me. I wrote a whole essay about him too because I knew he was going to write a bad review. So that's just pretty much a heads up. That's what happened to me, guys. Low-key kind of wish he called the cops though. Low-key. I low-key wish he would have called the cops because it would have been interesting to see how this would turn out. I mean, because we can't go to jail when we already resolved the issue. That is it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoy it. Please be sure to hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so that way you can be up to date whenever I upload. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.